not gonna lie, it's been harder and harder to get myself to record these and edit these and put these videos out for people to see over the past really 3-4 weeks or so, regardless of the reasoning of why. And I'm still doing it pretty much every day as I'm getting ready to leave and walking down to my car. I'm thinking, we'll just listen to some music on the way to work today. We'll just jam out to some tunes. We don't need to talk. We don't need to record anything. And that sentiment is true. I don't need to record anything. I don't need to talk to this camera. I don't need to put anything out there. But what would I think about myself if I were to stop now? There's never really been a thought in my head that's lasted longer than a few seconds anyways. That's been like, oh, maybe we should just quit. Like, what is the point of all this? Nothing's paying off yet. We're not seeing any type of income from this. We're not growing massively or anything. Like, what is the point? Maybe I should quit and get a lot of free time back. But brothers, what I'm trying to get at here is the things that are hardest for you to get done, the things that you quite literally fight with yourself over every day, the things that you have mental struggles over regularly, are the things that we actually need to make sure we're doing the most. The things that we need to make sure we're being the most consistent with. The reason we need to be the most consistent with these things is quite clearly, quite honestly, quite frankly, they're the things that are making us the most uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable something makes us, the more it's going to make us grow. And the more it's going to shape us, the more it's going to change us, the more it's going to allow us to gain new knowledge or a new perspective on life or on just that specific thing in general. And we can learn different lessons that might seem completely unrelated to what we're actually doing. But through doing, we're going to learn some unexpected things. We're going to experience unexpected experiences. And at the end of the day, if we can look back after a period of time and say, we weren't perfect, but more often than not, 70, 80, 90% of the time, we did those things that we really didn't want to do. We did those things that we really had to fight a hard mental battle to get out and do. Getting to the gym for a hard workout, getting up and being active to any degree when you're super sick or when you're super depressed and when you feel like you can't do anything, you're paralyzed, you're trapped in your house. The weight of the world is bearing down on you and crushing you. It's not actually, but it feels like it. It can absolutely feel like it, 100%. And it can be next to impossible to figure out how to shift our mindset to help ourselves realize that the world actually isn't crushing us. In those moments, when we force ourselves to work out, when we force ourselves to list things that we're grateful for, when we're in the most ungrateful mood imaginable, these moments and many more, these activities are going to shape us into the people that we need to become. Now, these are the moments that we'll look back and say, man, I am beyond grateful, beyond blessed to have pushed myself to those limits, beyond grateful to have had that discipline. I'm beyond grateful to have had that consistency with myself. The fact of the matter is, a hard life now equals an easy life later, but an easy life now equals a hard life later. I don't know about you, but I want to deal with the hard. I want to deal with the sucky. I want to deal with the lows of life, if you will. I want to build this consistency and I want to build this discipline muscle in my 20s. In all honesty, I wish I would have started, in my teens or even a little bit earlier in my 20s, but I'm very happy and very grateful to have come to these realizations and come to Christ as well. That was a big part of it for me. At the time I did, because the fact of the matter is there are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. There are people even that are 60, 70, 80 years old who have never truly had the realization of the more hard stuff we voluntarily put ourselves through, the easier our lives and honestly, the better our lives are going to become. Not just easier, because we don't necessarily want ease. We don't necessarily just want comfort all the time. We also want to be able to step into discomfort and step into uncertainty no matter what, no matter where we're at in life, because we can always get better. We should never stop striving for better, for ourselves, for our personal lives, for those that we love. So we should never really, really, really focus on easy as the goal, an easy life as the goal, a comforting life, a comfortable life as the goal. We want to be able to provide these things and we want to have nice shelter. We want to make sure we're eating well. We want to make sure we have these things. We want to make sure we have certain comforts, but we should never get to a point where we say, all right, did enough hard stuff, did enough difficult stuff. I've grown enough. Bring on the easy. I don't think I need to go down that road and explain why we don't want to do that. If you do need more of an explanation, let me know. But I might even argue that there's more people than not that will go through life and never truly realize they need to take ownership and they need to push themselves a little bit. They need to get out of their comfort zone. It is okay to just do the bare minimum. It is okay to just be average, but you understand that whatever you're putting in is what you're going to get out, right? So if you're putting in the bare minimum effort, you're going to get the absolute bare minimum out of life. You're probably going to rely on welfare, food stamps, that type of stuff to get by, government programs to help pay for housing and things like that. And you're never going to really be able to get the things that you want, go on the vacations you desire. And again, that's not the end of the world, but just understand bare minimum effort equals bare minimum output results. And same, if you're putting in about the average, whatever that may be, expect an average life, expect average outcomes. But if you're willing to put in extra, if you're willing to go above and beyond on a consistent basis, well, you can expect some extraordinary outcomes. At the same time, though, do not expect them to come overnight. Understand that while developing this muscle of discipline, we're also going to be developing this muscle of delayed gratification. If you can truly have control over your discipline, over your consistency, and over your ability to delay your own gratification, the world is yours. The world is your oyster. You are going to do whatever the hell you want with your life. Understand that and be happy. Let that bring a smile to your face. Because, dude, and start paying attention to everybody around you. Like in everyday life, when you're at work, when you're running errands, whatever, when you're at the gym, just start paying attention to everybody when you have time, and don't be a creep, but just pay attention, just observe a little bit. People are lazy. People are weak. People do not want to put in any effort. They want to get a little sniffle. They want to get a little bit of a sore throat so they can play it off and tell their boss that, they're not going to be able to make it in. They think they're coming down with the flu, or people want excuses to skip the gym. People want excuses to go get fast food. People are looking for excuses to take the shortcut, to take the easy path every single day. And guess what? Your inputs equal your outcomes. So over the course of time, you're going to start to be able to tell who has that muscle of discipline and delayed gratification and who has no time for it, who folds under the slightest bit of pressure, who folds under no pressure, in all honesty, in some cases. Again, nothing wrong with that. If that's how you choose to live your life, it's 7:42 a.m. If you're already looking for an excuse to hit the drive-thru on your lunch break or on the way home from work today, if you're already looking for an excuse to skip that workout, if you've already woken up this morning and smashed the snooze button a million times, by the way, if you struggle with that alarm shit, just set one and get up. Don't even make it an option in your head. Anyways, it's early. Have you already made excuses for yourself? Are you already trying to put together excuses for future you? Are you going to try and sneak out of work a little bit early? Are you going to try? Are you? Do you do it often? You see what I'm saying? Your inputs equal your outcomes. If you live your day-to-day life, living for the next excuse, if you will, living for the next shortcut, living for the next little piece of instant gratification. We're seeking fake dopamine in these ways. Little dopamine hits that, are going to spike us for a little bit, but they're not going to bring us any true fulfillment. And actually the actions that we take to cause these tiny little spikes negatively impact us over the long term, which is why we run back, because we want to feel good again for a second, because we know after we feel good for a second, we're going to feel like shit again. If that discipline muscle isn't as developed as it maybe should be, if you aren't able to delay gratification as much as you probably should be able to, if you aren't consistent as you want to be with good habits in your life. I'm just trying to show you, over the course of the next 5 to 10 years or even longer, if you continue to refuse to lock in, continue to refuse to take control of some of these things, what life might look like. I'm trying my best to not be insanely cruel and mean like I can be in some of these videos, but I hope you're starting to realize that if you continue on in similar ways that you are currently, that's not going to be a very fun life to live. That's actually going to be a pretty sucky life to live. But what I'm trying to tell you is, just because you don't want to do something, just because something seems hard, just because you're sore, just because you're tired, just because you're a little under the weather, just because you've been doing really good for a period of time, none of these are valid excuses to take the shortcut. If all you can do is say, "Oh, I just really don't want to do that today. Oh, that really sucked the last time I did it. That really wasn't very fun. You know, I got really sweaty and I was really out of breath and I was really thirsty by the end of it." Yeah, good. You were uncomfortable. It's good to be uncomfortable. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, let's go do the shit that we don't want to do. Let's go do the shit that we know is hard, but also the shit that we know is going to pay off and it's going to shape our lives into ones that are truly amazing and better than we ever could have truly imagined through discipline, through consistency, through delayed gratification. Thanks for checking this one out. I truly appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.